Hey guys, and welcome to a Game Explained preview. This time we're talking about Kirby Planet Robobot, which Ash actually got to play at WonderCon. So Ash, what'd you get to see about the game since this is the first playable form it's been for anybody?
Well, it was a pretty short demo. It was really just two stages. There was a regular stage where you just play as normal Kirby, and then there was a Robobot stage where you got to take one of the Robobots for a spin.
I gotta say, when I was watching your footage of Kirby and the Robobot, there was a lot of different powers available, like, just right off the bat.
Yeah, I was really surprised and actually quite delighted that I got to keep, losing my current mode to try a new one, because I figured they would have the, maybe a range of, 3 to 4 normal modes to try out, but they were more like probably 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun just kind of experimenting with how the modes for the Robobot compared to regular Kirby's copy abilities.
So one of the cool things before we get into how exactly they're different, I don't know if you realize this or not, but one of the modes that you actually got to try was Bomb Armor mode, which we've never seen before.
No, I did notice that was one of the that was something that hadn't been seen either on the Direct or really anywhere. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the remaining two are Ice and Bomb, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was kind of hoping for Wheel Armor Kirby, but oh well. Just Kirby driving around in a little car.
Well, they'll probably have that. I mean, in the final game, right? I mean, there's
maybe they said there was only 10 armor modes though. So
okay, so I guess we're running out of possibilities that they could be.
Yeah, I think the last two are the ones that we saw a screenshot of, and then you proved it with Bomb. But anyway, how did it feel to run around in the armor? Is it a significant change, or is it just sort of like remixing the powers in the same way that the animals remix the powers in Dreamland 2 and 3?
I mean, it's different enough. I mean, it's not a radical departure or anything, but it's different enough. I would compare it to, honestly, Mega Man X. It feels as much of a departure as, finding one of the right armors in Mega Man X is. Especially in, later X games like X3, where you got, different right armors that could do different things. So it changed it up enough, but, the controls are still the same. The core gameplay is still the same. It's not going to completely overhaul the gameplay, but it's a really fun, empowering change, and it's really fun to just kind of, just barrel your way through levels with this super overpowered armor. It's really cool.
Was anything even able to damage you during that entire time?
I feel like I took one or two very minor hits, and that's something I noticed, and it's not really that surprising. Is like Triple Deluxe. This is going to be a very easy game, up to the optional content. Obviously, I know you had a tough time with the True Arena in Triple Deluxe, and Kirby is known for having pretty difficult optional content. But if anything, if my time with Robobot is to be believed, yesterday at least, it's going to be a very easy game.
Mm-hmm. Which is it's sort of what Kirby's always done, where the main campaign is relatively easy, maybe a little challenging here and there, but then you get to the optional content and it will destroy you at times.
Yeah. Now, this was even a little more on the easy side than Kirby normally is, in my opinion, especially once you got the Robobots, or the Robobot in each stage. It's just you feel so overpowered. And I don't know if that's something they did for the E3 demo, but it's super overpowered.
Mm-hmm. E3, wow, we already got the E3 demo, huh? WonderCon demo.
Oh, it's true, yeah. I was thinking, yeah, but it felt so much like an E3 demo. That's what's weird, is that actually they didn't have it playable for everyone on the show floor.
Really?
It was something that they brought out only after closed doors, or after the floor closed. It was kind of a behind closed doors thing where they only brought Kirby out for journalists.
That's actually kind of interesting. You'd think they'd get that out there for more people to get them excited for it, since it is coming out in June.
Well, especially because Kirby's such a crowd pleaser. I mean, it's not really something that requires too much explanation to anyone. So it's just kind of like a fun crowd pleaser. So I'm surprised that they really only let us play it.
So did you notice any significant differences from the little bit that you did get to play as far as regular Kirby? How different is it from Triple Deluxe?
It's basically identical. I mean, it obviously runs on Triple Deluxe's engine. I mean, it's super obvious. The Kirby feels exactly the same. The sound effects are the same. Of course, all the music and all the graphics are new, but it certainly is based on Triple Deluxe's core engine. So it's very similar in terms of the regular Kirby gameplay.
Yeah, it seems like it. And I don't believe, with you being so early in the game, that you got to try out the new powers, correct?
No, I didn't. But I did notice that even stuff like the different collectibles in Planet Robobot function exactly the same as counterparts did in Triple Deluxe. So instead of collecting keychains now in a stage, we have stickers. And I was told by the rep who helped me there that there were going to be like hundreds and tons of stickers. So that's exactly like keychains in Triple Deluxe. And then I can't remember what the name of the items were in Triple Deluxe that you had to collect in each level to unlock the boss.
The Sunstones, I believe.
Right, the Sunstones. So in Planet Robobot, those are now code cubes, and it was literally they worked exactly the same.
Okay, that's not. Yeah. I guess that's not too surprising. I mean, it's a formula that works, and
exactly
they just sort of interchanging things. I do hope it does. It finds other ways to differentiate itself, which I'm sure it will, because I mean, the whole mechanical aesthetic does look interesting. Like, it is a very different looking Kirby game as far as like what you're traveling around in.
Yeah, I will say that in terms of the art style, it definitely kind of goes in a direction that Kirby hasn't a lot before, and it's really creative. Like, I was actually really impressed by the design of the mechanized Wispy Woods, and just kind of how the whole environment kind of comes together and really does look mechanical. Like, they definitely took a long time to really consider what Dreamland might look like when it was mechanized, and it's a really cool looking take on Kirby's world.
Yeah, that's really cool. I thought it was really interesting how the Clanky, I think it's Clanky was his name.
Yeah.
How they had a whole level dedicated to, or at least part of a level dedicated to him chasing you down, and really there being no way to take him out, no matter how much damage you did to him.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those scripted boss encounters, which you're not really meant to beat it at that particular moment, but it was pretty tense because you're basically having to get rid of all these obstacles in your way while you're running away from Clanky Woods. And his design too was really cool. Like, it doesn't, because of the inspired art direction, it doesn't really feel like this is just another Kirby Triple Deluxe, but with cool robot mechs. It really does feel like this the game was kind of designed from the ground up to kind of bring that whole theme together, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I know you're a huge proponent of the 3D within the 3DS.
Yes.
Did you get to try that out? Did you turn it on, or did you sort of leave it off for the purposes of the preview?
I turned it on just because I knew it didn't really make a big difference for the captured footage, and personally, I do prefer to play with the 3D on, like you said. So I definitely gave it a shot, and Triple Deluxe already had some of my favorite 3D on the system, and given that Planet Robobot is basically running in the same engine, I feel the same way here. I mean, it's just really, it's got, the game kind of has an overall soft look again. So the 3D just kind of, it's just a very nice, pleasant kind of deep effect. It's nothing too intense, but it just looks nice.
Yeah, I guess the part I was most curious about with the 3D is like how the camera shifted during that Clanky Woods encounter slightly to show you, just have a bit more of an angle to it rather than straight on, kind of like Kirby 64.
That's true. It did do that.
Was it like did that the 3D enhance that effect as well?
Not specifically that I can recall. I'm sure it did in the moment, but I was more impressed by just by really how things in the environment kind of adapted and kind of popped out toward the screen, such as when you probably saw my footage. You can actually insert, when you're riding the Robobot, you can actually insert its arms into certain like pegs, and then you rotate the control stick to kind of unscrew or screw together parts of the environment, and that actually affects the stage itself. And then so you'll basically be unscrewing these entire parts of the environment, or like whole platforms, and they'll kind of fly off the level toward the screen. It's pretty cool.
That is really cool. I mean, I don't really use 3D that often, but Triple Deluxe was a game I used my 3D on, and I'm probably going to do it again for Planet Robobot.
Yeah, it really looked nice, and the goal game at the end looked great too in 3D, just like I recall it did in Triple Deluxe.
Oh yeah, that looked really cool. I really do like the style that they're going with Planet Robobot, where it's familiar but also quite different.
Yeah, it really is, and I really kind of walked away from it just like really hyped to try more. I mean, I knew I would be hyped to play it anyway because it's Kirby, and Kirby's like my favorite Nintendo character, but specifically Planet Robobot, I after playing it, I'm like, wow, I'm actually really excited to play this full game just because it's just fun,
Yeah. Now, I know at the show you actually also got to see the upcoming Kirby Amiibo. How does the quality look on those?
Really nice. The only one I don't like is the same one I didn't like when I initially saw it, which is King Dedede. I think his mold or his face just looks really weird in my opinion, and I still don't think he looks great in person, but the other three look fantastic, especially Kirby. I have to say the little warp star he's riding on in the Amiibo base is really cool.
Yeah, they look pretty awesome. I'm guessing you didn't actually get to try out their functionality.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I figured.
But I did actually recall, though, that the rep who was helping me with Planet Robobot, he did tell me that any Amiibo would work, including third-party ones. So, not that every Amiibo is going to have like an official power designated to it, but your Ryu Amiibo will work. Your eventual Cloud Amiibo, I would think, would work. So,
yeah,
it is going to work with even third-party Amiibo, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I could kind of see them doing the Ryu Amiibo, and you get Fighter Kirby.
Yeah, I hope they do that. Yeah, like Fighter for Ryu and Beam or something, or Plasma or something for Mega Man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I guess the only other question I have for you, and I kind of heard it from myself, but we'll see what you get your thoughts on it. What'd you think of the music so far?
The music was maybe a little less inspired. Like it sounded kind of like it took Triple Deluxe's style as a base, but then of course has all new kind of compositions. But I don't know, like I remember the first level theme in Triple Deluxe just really standing out and grabbing me back when Triple Deluxe first came out, and it really got me into the game. And the first level theme in this one, it didn't quite do that. It was just kind of like more kind of hanging in the background. Didn't have that really intense musical hook that Kirby songs are known for. So I'm a little more unsure of the music. This might end up being one of the weaker Kirby soundtracks, but I've only heard one song or two songs, so I'm certainly not going to draw a whole conclusion based on that.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I'm Kirby soundtracks are typically pretty good, but I did sort of feel the same way about you. As like that music didn't immediately catch me. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not like as immediately like just you're tapping along to it.
Right.
Well, any final thoughts on Kirby Planet Robobot that we didn't cover?
Not that I can think of. Just that really, the more I think about my comparison to Mega Man X, the more I think it's really apt. It actually does feel very similar to that kind of level of empowerment within the game you're playing. So if that sounds good to you, and it certainly was a lot of fun to me, I really am excited about how this game's coming together. The one thing I did want to mention, actually, now that I think about it, is I did notice instances of slowdown. Triple Rate, as we all know, had a super smooth frame rate. It really hardly ever, if ever, dipped below 60 frames. So I'm sure it has something to do with Planet Robobot still not being finished at all, so I wouldn't worry too much about this, but I definitely did notice some instances of, kind of a crunchy frame rate there for a bit.
Okay, yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. Hopefully they smooth that out. They still have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'm really not too concerned about it. I thought it was worth noting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Put any concerns out there that you have. But hey, you find getting a Mega Man X sequel that you always wanted.
Yeah. So, hey, you know what? If anyone has to be the star of that, I would want it to be Kirby. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that covers it for the Kirby Planet Robobot preview. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Kirby and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.